everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with my second layout using the Paper Person kits for this month. And I'm super excited to be joined by my friends Sarah Scraps and Susanna Lee, who are also sharing layouts that they have created with this kit as well. And it's perfect timing because I just got the notification that my kit for February is on its way, so I am so glad we are finishing up this January kit today. And I wanted to play with some layers. So I have this pink paper that's going to be in the background, and I am putting a square of black over it, but I'm not centering it. I'm putting it like towards the bottom corner. And I'm going to kind of gut my paper, cut out part of it, because I need some of that for the rest of kind of the design that I have in mind. So then I'm going to go ahead and take my extra large hexagon punch, and you guys know how I feel about hexagons. I'm going to punch like 3 hexagons in each of my different colors of pattern paper. So I have quite a bit of paper left in this particular kit. There weren't embellishments and that kind of thing, so there was a lot more paper to play around with. There was a cut apart sheet and that kind of thing. But because we had an oversized stamp set this month, there wasn't as many embellishments to include as part of the design. So I went ahead and made some with my pattern paper. So I have those hexagon punches. I'm just going to layer them, and I was thinking about putting them over the top of my photo, and I end up deciding against that part. Once I get the whole row done, I feel like it looks a little bit out of place having the 1 or 2 on top of the photo. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of change my mind a little bit on that. But I do want this whole column of hexagons that's going to go up the side of my photo. And I love that this photo has this big open space on the side, because you know what I'm going to lean towards is putting a title over there, because I love putting a title on my photo. So what I was thinking was I was going to use this I love you card and put my title right on top. So I was thinking it was subtle enough of a text that it wasn't really going to mess with my title. I try it and it doesn't end up working out, but you'll see, it's coming. So then I decided to take this little piece of striped pattern paper, and I didn't want to use the whole paper because it has the cut aparts on the other side. So I took a couple of cut apart cards that I didn't think I would end up using and cut them into little teeny tiny strips that I can tuck into the layers of my mat around my page. So this is going to give me kind of the most real estate with the least amount of paper used, because if I would have cut that whole border, it would have ended up cutting through all of my different cards, and then I couldn't have used them at all. So I went ahead and added that piece, and I love how that kind of just brings a different pop of color. It's got that blue in there, it brings in the black. I just think it works really well. So then I was thinking I was going to use this rainbow, and that just didn't look the way I wanted it to. So I was like, okay, what about this pink? And that didn't work the way I wanted it to. So this is me kind of going through all the options, going, all right, well, now what? Now what do I do? I like what I have so far, but I don't know where to go from here. So I start cutting some little pieces of pattern paper that I'm going to go ahead and use kind of behind my photo just to help my photo stand out. So I have some of the black and white, and then I have a little tiny piece of that stripe paper that I'm going to bring in that I used around the outside edge. And I'm still thinking at this point that the card is going to stay here. So this I love you card, I'm like, man, it's going to stay here. I'm going to build my title on top of it. You guys, I am committed to this idea. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I was committed. I do have this floral cut file that's been hanging around on my desk for a while, and I haven't used it. So I went ahead and probably hurt some of your hearts and cut it into a bunch of pieces. And I'm going to tuck some little pieces in behind my photo. And that's going to give me just this extra pop of white against that black background. Really just kind of makes the design work. So please, 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 as scared as that might have made you, do not be afraid to cut your cut files apart, because it gives you a totally different look. And I really, really love how it turns out. So now is where I'm telling you I'm still committed. I'm going to put that title on top of that card. And so I start out with the title being See the World, and I put it on top of the love card. And even though the pink is really light in the background, I still feel like it's a little bit too busy, like it's competing just a little bit more than I would like it to. So my next problem comes in, because I'm like, no, what do I do? So I take all the letters off, because here's the problem. If I go ahead and put my title on my photo, those letters are going to get lost because they're the same kind of color as what I have in the background of my photo. So that's not going to work. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these alphas completely. And these are the same ones that I used on my first project this month. So I was like, man, I'm going to rock these alphas again. Not so much. Not going to happen. And that's okay, because I really love where I ended up. So I tried those little tiny white ones. They didn't work. So I went ahead and grabbed my favorite puffy alphas. These are the Aria alphabet from Bella Boulevard. They come in all the fun colors. So I grabbed the white ones because I used that piece of cut file for a pop of white. And I thought that would be perfect. So I'm still trying to get some of these paper person alphas in here. So I was going to use the word the in that blue color, and it still was getting lost in the background. So I'm like, you know what? I got to stick with white. So I have the world going on down here at the bottom, and I was like, C and the right next to each other stack up kind of funny. And yes, I'm a little weird like that. So I decide to go with the title Explore the World instead. And it just happens to work out that Explore fits perfectly in that space next to my head. And there isn't anything super important in the background of this picture, so it's okay with me that I covered it up. It's just kind of a cute travel picture. We were in Vancouver getting ready to head out on an Alaskan cruise. And so there's really, you know, not a big significant story happening in the background. So I'm totally good with kind of covering that space up. And I love how my title looks on top of my photo all the time. All right, so now I need some finishing touches. So I've grabbed just a few little heart die cuts. I also have some of these puffy like foam black hearts from Cocoa Vanilla. I'm going to scatter those throughout my embellishment kind of areas. And then I grabbed these little hearts out of a die cut pack, and I'm going to scatter a few of those in my embellishment areas as well. I tried not to with this kit to add a whole ton of embellishment. Since it didn't come with a bunch, I tried to kind of stick pretty close to the contents of the kit itself. But I did feel like I needed just a few of those die cuts in there. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish it off with some Nuvo drops. And as usual, I go a little kind of crazy overboard because I keep seeing all these places where I want to put Nuvo drops. And I'm like, oh, 3 more dots here, 3 more drops here, 3 more drops here. And it just keeps going. But it's okay. It's okay. And it turns out, I think it turns out good in the end. So it works. Do make sure after this video that you go and check out Susanna's video and Sarah's video, because theirs are totally different takes than mine are this month. And I really love how both of theirs turned out as well, and I think you will too. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.